Really?
Yeah, I was doing.
See, if this wouldn't, I just don't like his class in general.
Yeah.
Rowan, happy birthday!
Thanks, buddy.
Whose birthday is it?
It's Rowan's. It's her third
Hey.
birthday this year.
My
Happy
third
birthday,
this
Rowan.
year.
Congratulations. On your
I tell
third
Rowan
birthday.
happy birthday every Monday. Every Monday we meet, I tell Rowan happy birthday. I'm going to say it in DVC's class. I'm going to make DVC sing happy birthday to you because you know he doesn't remember that you had one like 2 months ago.
It's okay. I don't really remember. I had one 2 months ago either. Nothing really happened.
Dude, mine is in a month from yesterday, and who really cares, huh? It's just going to be stuck here.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Good morning, y'all.
Hey, Joe. What's going on?
Hello.
The first thing I want to get, and please chime in if you're having an issue. Who is having an issue with their symposium story?
People don't like to respond back to their emails.
Okay, so
Yeah.
you're having trouble with people responding. So let's start with Caleb, because Caleb's randomly showing up on my screen now, which he does pretty much all the time, even if I'm not zooming. It's really strange, Caleb. I don't know what's going on there. But anyway.
Way to go, Club.
I'll go take a nap.
Who are you having trouble getting in touch with, Caleb?
So I emailed Tangle, but she usually never answers her email. And then Bill, I mean it's true. And then Bill gave what's his name? Theater dude.
Bill Gablehausen. He's the
Theater.
he's the theater guy. I emailed him just for both of us because we both needed.
I emailed him too. He hasn't answered. It's been 3 days.
You see Tingle ain't respond to you?
No.
Yeah.
Tangle hasn't responded.
Well, what
I already got an interview with Tingle.
I'm going to do a polite, in all seriousness, a very polite email to people who haven't responded, just from the professor saying, hey, please respond so they could do their schoolwork. So who else is having issues? So I got Tingle, Gablehausen, who else?
I'm just struggling finding a third source in general.
Okay. And what was your thing on? Leslie?
Nathan Blackburn's. Yeah.
Okay.
Nathan Blackburn.
Okay.
Media and home.
I remember you did email me about that. What's his topic again?
The effects of media on homelessness.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Damn.
Yeah, because all of the people that he interviewed were anonymous. So is that okay to use an anonymous or no?
For that one, yes. Okay.
Okay.
Because that was his, so that's fine. Yeah. All right. Who else? Who else?
Wait, your third source, can it just be a student who, it can be a student who just saw the thing, right?
Correct.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Can it be?
We're chilling.
No, can it be someone that chimed in, stated their own opinion?
Correct. It could be any of that.
Okay.
And it could be anyone who, this is what the problem with Leslie's story with Nathan, because his topic was so specific, but it could be any, let's say you did a session on mass communication, something related to mass comm. Your source, your third source could be any mass comm professor or any student who might have an informed opinion on the topic.
Okay, so even if you didn't reach out to those people and they stated something in the video, you can use that as a third source?
Yeah.
Okay.
Other thoughts?
Great question.
Thank you, Brett. Thank you.
Any other issues? Oh, I thought I'd have more than this. Okay.
Wait, I have a question.
Yeah, Tamia.
Okay, so for mine, the professor allowed me to sit in on their class time and then ask every student questions.
Oh, crap.
Can I put each student in? It's 1, 2, 3, 4. It's 6 students.
Okay. Well, that's not as bad.
So I can put all of them in it? Because then he asked me to send the paper to them, too, after I finish.
Yeah,
And
that's
I'm not
fine.
leaving.
Yeah, you can include those 6. Yeah.
Okay.
Anyone else? Okay, so Tingo and Gablehausen are the only, those 2 people are easy because I know them. I have a good relationship with them. So they will get back to, let me make sure I got this right. So it's Caleb. Who else needed to talk to Tingo or Gablehausen and they haven't replied?
I did.
Rowan? Okay.
Joe, I think you just need to call up Tingle and ask her what's up.
I know, I will. Anyone else?
I do.
Who's this?
Yeah.
Anna? Okay, so Caleb, Rowan, and Anna. Great. All right, cool. All right, let's, today is kind of a housekeeping kind of day. I do want to show you our schedule here. Hard to believe, we're already here. After you turn in your story, which is now due Wednesday at 5, okay? After you turn it in, right away Wednesday night, I'm going to send out invitations for one-on-ones on Thursday and Friday, and maybe early next week, depending what the schedule looks like. So we can go over your story, and then you'll have to submit the final draft sometime next week for that. So ignore this date. And then next week we will meet, and solely we're going to meet to go over the final and what your final will look like. And your final will be just like your midterm was. It will be an online. It will be an online final. It will be editing a story with some other elements that we've talked about here. So that's what we're going to do next week. And then, hard to believe, we're done. We're done.
Completed. Finished. Finito.
All right.
Excited.
So let's look at today. Let's see here. So things that you'll need to do today is, of course, no reading response next week. You have your symposium story due next Wednesday. You have your news quiz Wednesday between 10 and 10:50, and then you'll have to schedule that one-on-one with me, okay? So we took, about a week ago, we took this quiz, Is It Libel? Remember this one? This was a fun one.
Yes.
So let's just go through this and how I'm going to.
Joe, you stop. Joe,
Yeah,
you
we
stop
can't
sharing
see your screen.
You stop sharing it.
Okay, well, I just want you guys to read my mind.
Okay.
You updated your computer. That's what I heard.
Oh, you don't know. You guys are getting the best of me today. In my 9 o'clock class, I had made the bright decision to install like a update, a system update, an OS update for my Mac here. It took like 18 hours. And then I had all sorts of problems this morning at my first class. I couldn't share screens because the privacy settings were changed, blah, 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 blah. It was a mess. Okay, oops, I shared the wrong thing now.
Wrong thing. Come on, Joe.
So I'm going to share, is there a way I could just share my desktop? There we go. So you see everything on my desktop now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yes, sir.
Hey, out of curiosity, do you even see like you guys, like, do you see Brett here and Maria
I
here?
always see Brett. Yeah, I can see Brett, Maria, Rowan, and Dr. Joe.
Yeah, I'm at the top of the screen, and I don't know why.
I'm also at the
Last
top
name?
of the screen.
That's weird.
Is it by last name or something? But
No, because I'm at the top of my screen. And like,
It's like you yourself are at the top of your own screen.
and then Anya's under Joe
Yep.
on the screen.
Huh.
On the screen.
I think
All
you
right.
see the same 4 individuals every time.
Yeah. All right. Well, what we'll do is we'll go
Yes.
over this and let's talk about this. So the reason why I wanted to share my whole desktop was because when I'm doing this, I will at least pull up this little slide. This is the most important slide in terms of trying to figure out whether stuff was libel or not. And if you recall on this PowerPoint, I give a little more detail about each of these, but let's look at this first one here. Joe Dennis, very upset at his editing class for their performance on the grammar test, says in class, "I'm going to kill y'all." A story is later published in The Roar about terroristic threats, and Dennis is mentioned as a threat, with the reporter writing, "Dennis recently threatened his class with murder." "I'm going to kill y'all," said the angry professor. Is this libel? What are your thoughts?
Oh,
No, you did not make terroristic threats.
yeah,
I know,
no.
but
You would ask the class.
I'm
for-
sorry.
You would ask the class for like different sources to make sure. So no.
Mm-hmm. Does anyone think it is libel? Or wait, so you guys think it is libel. Does anyone think it's not libel?
Not liable as in you couldn't get in trouble, correct? That's what we're
Yeah.
talking about.
So I
Yeah,
would say,
I didn't think it was liable. I disagreed. I said it was not liable.
okay.
Yeah, I said it wasn't either.
Well, I want to preface this by saying that we don't know for sure any of these answers, because these are all hypotheticals, and ultimately, who decides whether it's libel or not?
You do
The
as the
jury.
Yeah,
The
jury.
judge.
Ultimately, yeah, a jury or a
Yeah.
judge. So there's no definitive
So you're saying
answer.
this was a subjective assignment?
It was, yeah. But
Okay.
what I was really looking for was your reasoning. And even though we'd never know if stuff's libel, you could come across as an editor or a writer at some point. You could have something like this, and you'd be like, "Wait a second, should we be publishing this? Could this potentially be libel?" In this case, was the statement published? Yes. Was the plaintiff identified? Yes. Was the statement defamatory? Now, defamatory
Yes.
is the statement harmed the person's reputation. If I, as a professor, the way this is written, I threatened my class with murder, yes, I would say it could harm my reputation. Did it cause injury? I could say, yes, it caused injury, because it would really hurt my career. Now, here's the big thing for this one. Was the publisher at fault in publishing? And I would say yes. Why would I say the publisher was at fault in publishing this quote written like this?
It is very subjective because it said the angry professor.
Yeah, that's true.
So you're already throwing in a adjective there that probably
Mhm.
shouldn't be thrown in.
And I did say this, so it is accurate, but what's missing? What's very important here? What's missing here in this, the way this was written in the story? It starts with a C. O. N.
Context.
Yeah, context.
Yeah,
exactly.
there we go.
It's missing context. And people say stuff like this, "I'm going to kill y'all." Like, I mean, everyone at some point, has said, "Oh, my parents are going to kill me," or some stuff like that. Well, you don't literally mean, you're not afraid that you're going to be murdered by your parents. It's sometimes, yeah, maybe. Well, in Rowan's case.
Debatable.
Wait, who said sometimes?
I did.
There's been a few times.
I said debatable. There's definitely been some occasions where I'm like, all right, this is it. This is my end.
Yeah, you start praying. You're like, God, I'll see you in a few, man.
But context is important. So if this story was written about terroristic threats, let's say terroristic threats on campus, and then it includes me in this story because I threatened my class with murder, that is completely out of context, right? Because if I was just upset about your performance on a test and said, "I'm going to kill you," doesn't mean I'm making terroristic threats to say I'm going to kill you. So I would say that has the potential to be libel. And like I said, if you did this, you'll get the credit, basically. If you had stated reasonings, I'll give you the full credit because there's no right or wrong answer. Okay, a movie reviewer writes, with inconsistent plot lines, random guest appearances, and dyslexic dialogue, Seth Rogen must have been smoking a lot of pot when he wrote This Is the End. Is this libel?
Yes. No.
I said no
on
because it's
that.
an
I mean,
opinion.
the papers. I mean, the people are liable, but Seth Rogen is not going to get in trouble.
No, but I'm talking about the journalist here. What do you think, Noah? All right, Noah's disappeared. What do you think, Rowan? Is this potentially libel? Question number 2 here. The key thing here, of course, is saying Seth Rogen must have been smoking a lot of pot.
Sorry.
I would say no.
Yeah, why is that?
Because it's just saying like, oh, he must have been smoking a lot of pot instead of like having like direct. You know, I don't know how to word what I'm trying to say, but I understand what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
I think the writer's liable here because if he was smoking pot, pot's only legal in certain states. So depending on that,
Right.
Seth Rogen could get in trouble.
Does anyone know
I think it's definitely liable.
You think so? Does anyone know what
Yes.
Seth Rogen is known for?
Smoking pot.
21 Jump
He's an
Street.
actor.
Yeah. He is a pretty well-known pothead. So because
I
of
didn't know
that,
this.
yeah. So you need some insider knowledge here. And this was from a couple years ago when I wrote this question. Yeah.
Just an assumption,
So
like his creative processes could be to get completely sober and not smoke any weed when he's writing a movie or something like that.
that's true.
The person, this is just assuming because he's a pothead, he smokes all this weed when he's writing something.
Mm-hmm. That's true. It could be an incorrect assumption here. We don't know that. That is true. But that would just be, you know, a wrong opinion. But in terms of libel, saying that Seth Rogen smokes pot, probably not libel. Probably not, because that's what he's known for.
Now, if you just said Snoop Dogg, I would have known what you're talking about.
Yeah. All right. Question number 3. A blogger writes that Atlanta Braves player Marcell Ozuna must suffer from attention deficit disorder. Every time the ball is pitched to him, he has a deficit of attention. Is it libel? Why or why not?
Yes.
I would say so.
Because
Why is that?
You could be offending the ADD community.
Yeah,
the people with I'm serious. You could be offending the attention deficit disorder people.
even if he didn't have a deficit disorder, him getting potentially recruited by other people, what's the word?
Teams.
Leagues.
Teams.
Yeah, other teams. Then that would kind of hurt his chances of it because of that article coming out. So I think the writer is
liable
for it.
I said he was liable.
Okay.
Well,
those are good arguments. Other thoughts? Anyone else? Anna, what do you think?
Was it a good yawn, Brett?
Anna, what do you think?
Corona yawn.
No. Leslie, what do you think? Okay.
Oh, sorry.
No, what do you think?
Yeah. Do you guys remember when we talked about The People versus Larry Flint? And Larry Flint was the publisher of Hustler magazine, and he had that fake advertisement saying that Jerry Falwell had sex with his mother, and the Supreme Court in The People versus Larry Flint had determined that that was not libel because anyone who read that would totally recognize that this was just fake, that this was just sarcasm or what's the word I'm looking for? It was humor writing. And so I wonder if that statute would apply here, because
That's what I thought.
the context for which this is written is trying to be humorous, right? So that's one thought there. Let's look at question number 4. At a crime scene involving an accident, a witness tells a reporter that driver was clearly drunk. The police report doesn't mention any suspected alcohol use, and the paper publishes the quote. So this, it is?
I would
Yes.
because that reporter's putting, say the driver lived or didn't die, we don't know, but what's the word? God, I can't think.
Mhm.
But anyways, if say he was,
Survived.
then that's putting that driver at risk to hide.
Yeah.
Or with the cops.
And I would agree with that. And this is where the danger that some journalists get in is they say, oh, well, it was a quote, so this can't be libel. But you can't, anyone can say anything, right? Anyone can say anything. I could say right now that Marnika is an axe murderer, right? I could say that.
I could be.
Well, I mean, that's true. You could be. But I can say that and you can quote that, but that doesn't mean if there's nothing else to back that up, that doesn't mean that you can just go ahead and publish it. And so
that also hurts the police department, because that doesn't mean they did a efficient enough police report either. Like, he was drunk and they didn't have it in there.
You're right.
So.
And even if this witness like stands by her story, it's just her opinion, right? And if you include that in a story like this, it could definitely injure the person that you're covering. Okay. A college newspaper columnist writes his column directly to the website. In one column about Greek life, he writes, all sorority members are whores. Is this libel?
I'd say
this is a tricky one.
I said that it is libel.
Reputation at stake, and for potential people wanting to join that sorority at school, or even going to that school in general. Because normally when parents hear something like that, parents don't want their kids around that.
Absolutely.
And what if these girls want to get a job after college and they look and say, oh, you were in such and such sorority, you're a whore, that's going to affect you in our office firm or whatever. You know, it could affect them in the future as well. And like Maria's saying, it could also affect the college.
Okay. Other thoughts? Madison, what do you think?
I think it's liable because it could affect the girls in the future, like what Brett said.
So you guys are right in the statement that making an accusation like that would definitely be libelous. The problem with this question, the way this question is written, is I don't know if you recall, one of the things we talked about is identification. The person is reasonably identifiable in the story. So by saying all sorority members, you can't identify a person, right? So that's what would make this not libel.
But aren't you identifying a group of members?
Yes, you are identifying a group of members, but again, organizations cannot sue for libel. They only libel is an individual claim, right?
So could each one of the young girls sue though?
Unless they could say that they were specifically pointed out by this, no, they can't. So yeah, this is a tough one. But this is why, for example, in that case we talked about the fake rape story at the University of Virginia, the dean of students got millions of dollars in a settlement. There were 3 individual fraternity members who said, even though they weren't identified by name, that there was enough information in the story that could identify them because it said, it like described them like this person who was about 6 feet tall with black hair, you know, attacked me. And so they said, well, if you look at our fraternity and you look at who's 6 feet tall, who has black hair, and who wears glasses, it really narrowed it down to me. So they got a settlement. But then when the fraternity tried to sue, well, actually, they ended up not suing because they're an organization, so they couldn't sue for libel. Okay, now we talk a little bit about privacy. A paparazzi photographer takes photos of Kesha as she jogs in Central Park. Is this an invasion of privacy?
No. She's in a public area.
Facts.
Any others?
Call her Joe, you take a picture of probably.
Yeah. Any other thoughts? I would tend to agree.
She's also over 18, so it doesn't have to do with you have to have parental agreement either.
Right.
Also,
Exactly. So this is not an invasion of privacy because where did that slide go? There we go. Because this is in a public area, like you said, and you know, she's jogging in Central Park. You can take the picture of her if you want. It's up to you. So an ordinary citizen notices the window of the house across the street open and sees two people doing the deed. I don't need to explain this, do I?
I don't think so.
Okay. And this person takes photos. Now the citizen is just like, you know, on the street and sees this window open and takes pictures. Is this an invasion of privacy?
Yes.
Or determined by the court of law?
Yes.
Besides Brett, who said yes?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Madison, or no, someone else said it.
I said yes.
Why is that an invasion of privacy?
Because that's their house, like.
Yeah.
And the person's like on the street, but like, just because they have the window open doesn't mean they want, you know, pictures of them getting out. Maybe they like having the window open. I don't know.
Yeah. No, but that's exactly
Maybe it gets
true.
a little toasty in there while the deed is being done.
It's certainly, you know, probably a lack of attention to detail there, but that is an invasion of privacy because people in their home have a reasonable expectation of privacy. Whereas if they were doing it on a park bench and you took pictures, no, you would have, that would not be an invasion of privacy for you to, now I'm saying invasion of privacy in terms of the court of law, not like ethically, because if they're doing it on a park bench, they're in a public place, take the picture. Okay, during a press conference, a politician, not realizing his mic was live, calls his voters morons. A reporter writes that this politician called his voters morons. So he said it on mic, but he didn't realize the mic was live. Is that libel?
Yes. Or no, it's not libel. That's what I meant to say.
Because he wasn't in a public area when he said that. Or we don't know if he was or wasn't.
No, his mic's live. So that's him being stupid. He shouldn't. You know, he should never make that comment in the first place, even behind closed doors. And
yeah, either way, he still said it. So someone's gonna hear him either way. Whoever's in the back or who's ever
talk to him,
like in the audience, hearing him on the mic. So
yes,
before he said anything, he should have made sure his mic was off.
Exactly.
Depending on what he was going to say.
Yeah.
You always think before you speak.
And we have examples of this happening with politics. We probably all remember the Donald Trump tape that he didn't realize he was being recorded when he was talking about women. Before him, let's see.
Donald Sterling.
Yeah, Donald Sterling, the Los Angeles Clippers owner, said some racist remarks. A while ago, there was Joe Biden at a press conference was caught on mic saying, "This is a big fucking deal." And then my favorite was George W. Bush. He didn't realize his mic was live and called of one of the reporters there. He said, that guy's a major league asshole. And all that stuff was fair game because it was, they were in a
Public forum.
Public forum. Okay. Now this one really happened. No, I'm joking. It didn't. 2 students show up at Joe Dennis's house unexpectedly, asking for their help with a story. Is this an invasion of privacy according to the court of law?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, because how did they know your address?
Well, you also gave us your
They-
address one
I
day.
didn't think
you kinda
Joe
did
gave
give
us
us
his
your
address.
address.
I
Yeah,
didn't
it's
think
like,
Joe gave us
come on
his
down.
Something Marie Lane.
Yeah, and Anya and Leslie looked it up.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I was
we
gonna
told
say
you.
that.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
they're
thought
talking
you
about
gave
your
us.
house.
I thought you gave us a fake address.
Anya
No,
even Anya or Leslie, I forget which one, made a comment like, "Oh, you have a nice house." Oh,
Yeah.
this.
It
I'm
was
like,
both of us. We looked it up.
so it would not be an invasion of privacy if you just came there asking for help. It's no different how when, I don't know, a door-to-door salesman or Jehovah's Witness comes to your door and they ask a question. That's not an invasion of privacy. Now, if you ring my doorbell and I open the door and
We like barge in.
yeah, you barge in, that's an invasion of privacy. So does that make sense?
Yes,
Mhm.
sir.
And then the last one, recognizing you're a good reporter. A friend gives you information. Oh, wait, recognizing you're a good reporter. This wouldn't apply to any of you, so we'll just skip that. No, I'm joking.
Wow. Wow.
A friend gives you information that alleges a specific professor brags about sexually harassing students. You decide to hold on to this information until you can do some investigating. Is this libel? Now, we're talking about the fact that you possess this information. Is that libel?
The fact that you just have the information?
Yeah.
Because
No.
you didn't publish it.
Exactly. That's the libel has to be published. That's the first claim for libel. So just having information doesn't mean it's libelous. So that's that. Okay. And the last thing I want to go over today is the last reading you guys did talked about some of the red flags of your writing. And I just want to talk about tightening your writing here. So the goal is to make every sentence mean something. So for example, a sentence like this: the Piedmont College women's lacrosse team hosted Averett University last weekend. It's kind of an empty sentence, right? Because what does that mean, right? So a stronger sentence, nothing's wrong with it. Grammatically, it's correct, okay? Remember, we're talking about here getting your writing to the next level. So if you said the Piedmont College women's lacrosse team lost 13-12 to Averett University at home last weekend, okay, that's better. But a really strong sentence would be giving a lot of context in this sentence. Snapping a 4-game winning streak, the Piedmont College women's lacrosse team narrowly lost 13-12 to Averett University at home last weekend. You see the difference in the 3 sentences? This sentence is a much stronger sentence. Okay, let's look at another example. At a recent faculty meeting, Piedmont College administrators announced their decision about a proposed textbook fee. What's missing from this sentence? What's the obvious thing that's missing from this sentence? I'm not looking for like a grammatical thing or a verb
Like
or
to
anything.
say the textbook fee.
Yeah, what was the decision? Exactly.
Yeah.
So Piedmont College administrators announced at an April 2nd faculty meeting that a $300 textbook fee will be implemented in fall 2020. Not true, by the way, so don't freak out on me. That's a lot better because they're actually saying what the fee will be. And then a full sentence would be, despite objections from students, Piedmont College administrators announced at an April 2nd faculty meeting that a blah, 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 blah. So providing context. So this tells you kind of the what. This tells you the real what. because the what here is they announced their decision, but the real what is what the decision actually was, right? And then this gives you a lot more context. So avoid cliches when you're writing. I've talked to some of you about this in your writing. For example, Las Vegas came out with the victory, but the playoff game against Los Angeles was too close for comfort for Golden Knights fans. What's the cliche there?
Too close for comfort.
Yeah. So avoid cliches like that, because it is, honestly, it's just lazy writing, because you're taking someone else's words and putting them in your story, but you can be more creative than that. So trailing 2-0 in the final period, Las Vegas scored 3 consecutive goals to shock Los Angeles 3-2 in last night's playoff game. So just tell us what happened instead of saying too close for comfort, okay? Here's another example. President Trump flip-flopped yesterday on his stance on border separation. What's the cliche there?
Flip-flopped.
Flip-flopped, yeah. So just tell us, after saying child separation was a successful policy, President Trump said yesterday he would not be looking to re-implement it. Just tell us instead of giving us the cliche. I say here, once in a blue moon, cliches are okay. So very rarely, and the only time it's okay is if you're going to kind of be clever with the cliche. So you can't judge a book by its cover unless you're reading by its cover, modern American book cover design, real book. The apple doesn't fall from its tree unless you're talking about Bob Smith's 40-foot apple tree, right? So in very rare situations, it's okay to use a cliche, but otherwise, it's best not to do that in your writing. The last thing, avoid jargon. What do I mean by jargon? What's the jargon here, do you think? In this sentence.
State of the art, performing arts.
State of the art. Because what does that really mean, state of the art? So equipped with a digital TV studio, radio station, and an 800-seat theater, Piedmont College opened its Performing Arts Center.
Is that true? It's only been open since 2001?
Yeah. No, actually, it may be less than that. I think they opened it in 2006.
That's sick, dude.
Yeah. The window of opportunity for students to improve their grades is narrowing. Window of opportunity is the jargon there. Students have only 2 weeks left to improve their grades before the end of the semester. All right, so just be specific. And then these words, when they're in your story, are usually not necessary. In other words, you can take that out of the story. So when I say located, so let's say if I'm writing let's say if I write a sentence, my house located at 125 May Court in Athens, Georgia. How could I phrase that sentence instead of just saying located? My house is at 125 May Court, right? See, I'm telling you all my address again. Finally is another word not necessary in stories. Extremely, okay, that's a very editorial word. It might be used like to say Brett is extremely excited. No, just say Brett's excited, okay? Very, very overused word. Get or got. I remember my writing teacher in college saying that she would never let us use get or got in a story because she said they're such ugly words. Held, when I say held, I mean not the mom held the baby, but more like a meeting was held on campus, or the student group held their meeting or held its meeting. A lot of times in sentences, when that is used, you can just take it out. You don't need that there. So those are some of the red flag words that I have for you. And wow, I had a lot to cover and I did it all. And we still have 10 minutes left. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and email Tingle and Gablehausen. Hopefully I answered all your questions. you'll have a news quiz Wednesday morning between 10 and 10:50. Your story is due Wednesday at 5, and then I will email you all to schedule a one-on-one with me over Zoom to discuss your story. And I'll see you next week for the last time.
Wow, the last dance.
Yeah. Any questions? All right, y'all. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.
Bye.